watches this show? Who do you think I talk to? It's not like I just fell off a turnip truck or something. I'm the OG. And I say that to not sit here and crow or blow my horn. It's to let everybody understand. If I'm telling you something about 98% of the time, it's accurate.
Oh, I bet you like how your culture's falling apart around here. Now, your men don't act like men. It's because you don't let them act like men. Did you know thousands of years ago in Rome, they used the women as the house slaves to keep the men down and spy on them? Do you like the psychological warfare? She starts shaking. Actually, my uncle said that, and I don't understand it. I go, good, listen to your uncle. I'm sick of it, and I'm tired of it.
Maybe you guys should check in with me more. I'm not doing good health-wise. And I just got into alcohol. Holy shit, bro. My body's saying, no, don't drink alcohol. But, bro, my mind's like, yes, bro, yes.
We're so close to getting the globalists. I want their throats!
It's May 15th, the year of our Lord 2025. Let's take a moment of silence for just how great things have been, folks. I mean, the Democratic pedophiles are on the run. Me and Dylan, the channel is on a resurgence. We're on the attack. We're above the target.
We are no longer in defense mode. We are fully on the offense. We are in war mode completely. The opposition cannot handle us. If they want a war, if they want to attack us, we attack back. We attack back harder than they ever do. That's why the Democratic pedophiles are on the run.
They've tried to stop us. It's not out of lack of trying. They've tried to stop us, and we're still out here. We're still standing. We're in the fucking trenches. We're soldiers out here. We're on the ground for you guys. We're kind of like King Arthur or somebody famous that you know of. Just anybody that you look up to. Not that I look up to King Arthur or anything. Just think of somebody cool. Just think of somebody cool here, folks. I don't know what I'm trying to get.
You guys heard us talk about Dean Corll. You heard us talk about John Wayne Gacy, but we couldn't really get into the North Fox Island stuff and didn't get into the Delta Project too much because this has just fully consumed my mind, and I am tired of thinking about pedophiles from the 1970s. It's kind of getting a lot for me.
He just got done talking to his father about it, for Christ's sake. This man has 70s pedophiles on the brain. There's nothing you can do. That's why he's here to write a tapestry.
I'm glad I can stop talking about John Wayne Gacy and Dean Corll as much, though, because they are like the most bodies. It's just so many fucking children in one space. It's insane. In John Wayne Gacy, it was 28 kids at his house. They credited him for like 33 kills total. And Dean Corll, they credit him with 28 kills because they just literally stopped counting. He definitely killed way more than that. They never excavated the candy store at all. It's so crazy that they just stopped counting completely. Like, you don't care about the rest of the victims.
Dylan, it was expired candy buried underneath there. It wasn't bodies. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's just a lot of strange things going on in Michigan. I don't know.
Well, that was in Texas, but in Michigan is even crazier shit because they're flying them out to North Fox Island where they had to build their own runway in the middle of the island just to fly in their private jets. Kind of like somewhere else we've heard, some other island we've heard of, maybe involving. I'm not even going to say what.
Don't say it, dude. Please don't say it. Nothing happened there. He did kill himself. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
There was not other countries involved. That was strictly a U.S. involvement.
Dude, will you stop? Don't even mention the temple that was built on the island. Please don't even mention what it looks like. I don't even want anybody to mention the color scheme of the temple.
Yeah, the fact that Robert Maxwell made our textbooks just still blows my mind. I can't stop thinking about how it's kind of like how
you should be thankful for how much you've learned, for what you've been taught. I don't know why you're bitching and moaning.
You hear the saying all the time that the victor writes history. You never hear about what the loser has to say because they're fucking dead. Like, we are being controlled by a certain country and they write our textbooks and write history.
That's just speculation.
But yeah, and they've tried to cover up North Fox Island for a long time. They tried to just make these situations a lone wolf pedophile scenario whenever there's really a network involving multiple cities all around the country, multiple players, multiple high-ranking officials, and the politicians, whenever they could get exposed, their note cards are available for us, brought into evidence, so obvious that we should not destroy these. They just destroy them and then make up a bullshit excuse after. It's so crazy that they're even allowed to do that, and nothing ever happened to the people that destroyed them.
It's a problem whenever Henry Kissinger is blowing up. We're blowing up files.
And yeah, it's obvious government corruption that has stopped this story from getting out for so long, and the victims who are in this case deserve to be heard. I watched a video today where it's like they forgot to redact one name in one of the FOIA files for this case, and then like these people that are making a documentary just called him a couple of years ago, and he's still like alive, like knows about all the people that abused him, knows about Francis Sheldon who owned the island. The people who made the documentary actually brought him back there to the island, to the fucking cabin that he got molested in, which was kind of a crazy thing for me. Even the people who were doing the documentary were like, wow.
People are sick.
Wow, you're so brave for coming here. I would never be able to do this.
People are fucking sick and wrong. You can't make this shit up.
The dude, whenever he fucking got brought back to the cabin that they raped him in, he was like, dude, he got super pissed. He was like very quiet guy. He like never got mad this entire time. He was just explaining what happened. Whenever he got brought there to that cabin, he just started flipping out and was like, it's bullshit what they did to me. And he ended it with like, I just need to take a break. Turn the fucking cameras off right now. I'm starting to hallucinate.
I mean, you see why Kissinger has to blow up the files now. I mean, this is the reason why. People are showing up to your cabin and having a mental fucking breakdown. There's probably some crazy shit at play.
And they were able to get people to come here. I guess we should just start it off by, it's Francis Sheldon is the guy's name who owned North Fox Island in the 70s. And they brought multiple boys here, brought them in from different organizations, and used different people to recruit them, and brought them there to abuse them and to record it, and to even kill some of them to produce their snuff films, to get satisfaction from it. And then they also brought clients there to have sex with them as well.
I mean, this is for a subscription magazine. This is for the Hermes magazine. There's flying children out. I hate to laugh, but it's just so absurd whenever you think about it. They're flying young boys out to an island to film them being exploited for a magazine that's being paid for so many times that it's a subscription service. These people, it's not a rarity.
And John Norman, who made the subscription service, was able to make all of his shit from jail. He was able to run the shit from jail and use the printing press in jail to make his subscription service, which is just unbelievable. There had to be some type of government collusion going on for that to even happen. But in the height of it, he was making $300,000 to $500,000 a year from it, which is just fucking insane. This is so much money at the time. And 70s money?
I mean, for Christ's sake, if you make one mistake on your taxes, the IRS is up your ass, but these people are committing sex crimes every single day, and it's fine. They're doing it from their prison cells. This is being distributed from a government-funded building. I mean, he might be locked away, but for Christ's sake, do you have to let him use the printers for CP?
And Francis Sheldon, who owned the island, his next in line guy, his name was Dyer Grossman, and that name is just terrible.
Sweet.
Obviously,
like
that dude's gonna be fucking kids. But Dyer Grossman was like an expert in tax havens and shit. He's how Francis Sheldon used all of his shell corporations, and then they just used the main shell corporation, which was the Children's Mission that. Brother Paul's Children's Mission is what Francis Sheldon created. That is the original shell corporation, and then from that they make subsidiaries and like branch it out. And this is all tax-free by the IRS. It's like since they're able to say they're a church or whatever the fuck they are, they're just able to get all money coming in tax-free. Dyer Grossman was the next, like the right-hand man who ran the Children's Mission. And then he also used, this is just one guy that he used to recruit kids to come here. He used Gerald Richards, who is like this 5'2", 110-pound dude.
Oh, they had a midgie?
They had just like this tiny little guy who looked like kind of like a child, and he called himself Jerry the Magician.
That's also horrifying.
And he rode around in a car that had Jerry the Magician on it. It was like this old orange-looking car, kind of like a fucking station wagon looking thing that had Jerry the Magician on it. And then he was a local gym teacher in Michigan.
The stereotype is there for a reason, folks.
He ran that for a couple of years. How he originally met John Norman, who ran the Delta Project, ran Hermes. He met him because Jerry, whenever he started out, whenever he was like just getting out of high school, he worked at basically like a comic book store, a bookstore, and then that's where he found out about the CP shit. That's where he found out about that. Not that John Norman was making one. He just found out that through that bookstore that CP was even able to be distributed through books and shit, like through fucking subscription services. And then so he meets John Norman because they both are writers for Better Life Monthly. Do you remember that magazine?
Better Life Monthly.
Yeah.
No, I missed that one.
It was just a thinly veiled code for Boy Lovers Monthly. It was just
nice. Nice.
So obviously Boy Lovers Monthly, like it was only about sexual boy shit, but then they just call it Better Life Monthly and just use that as the fucking code. And that's where they
you got to give it to them, people. These guys are smooth.
John Norman and Jerry Richards both wrote for that magazine. But Jerry whenever he gets this job at this gym as his gym teacher, he recruits boys to go to the North Fox Island because it's just a children's mission going on there. It's just this rich guy who just wants kids to fly there, and he only picks his best students. Whenever in reality, Jerry was only picking the most vulnerable kids. He was only picking kids from broken homes, and like he only picked the ones that he would think that would not say anything. And then whenever he specifically in Jerry's situation, whenever he would bring these kids there, they would get their parents' approval. He could fly them there without their parents there. The original ways that they would like try to get them to start like being okay with being molested, they would go skinny dipping and be like, no, it's okay, we're just having fun. And then whatever kids would like not be okay with skinny dipping, you could just like be like, send those kids back, not fucking touch them because they're going to tell their parents. They would do things like that where they would pick out the most vulnerable kids who won't say anything. And then whenever a client would touch them, Jerry would just say that like he had plausible deniability because he just wasn't there. He only looked away for a second. Like whenever the parents would say anything, like how would I have known? Like there's nothing I could have done. And like just so many complaints happened from this island over time that it's so obvious. There's so many police reports that got made from it, but nobody looks into it at all. Over and over again, nobody looks into it at all. Nobody holds the people accountable.
It's always a running theme with these pedophile cases. The law enforcement never seems to give a rat's ass about anything that's going on.
Like Dean Coral, he just has so many kids going missing in such a small area.
I mean, he's having other kids lead him in there to die. Just some of your friends go missing. I said this last episode. Some of your friends go missing, and you're gonna go where they went too. Like, what the fuck is going on? There was rumors about this guy in the town. Everybody knew to stay the fuck away from this guy.
And in John Wayne Gacy's case, he said on an interview that he did after, this is already whenever he's locked up and admitted to shit, he said, this is obviously a lie in my opinion, but he said the only kill that he had was a self-defense kill. His first ever kill was a guy who came at him with a knife. Once he wasn't okay with doing gay shit, he came at him with a knife. John said he grabbed the knife and turned on him and killed him, which who the fuck knows, I don't know, but he said he
sounds like a movie.
He said he buried him under the house in that little crawl space. He said that was the only body he knew about. He had no idea about any of the other bodies at all. He said he had 12 sets of keys made for his house. And this is where his construction company, this is where they had meetings and shit, is at his house. They had a fucking table set up in the living room. He said like it was like his conference area where he had like a fucking table set up, like a shitty fucking plastic table. They would like put a tablecloth over it. That's where they would hold their meetings. And this is like Philip Paskey had keys there. Like so many people had keys to this house. It wasn't just John Wayne Gacy who had keys there. So I do believe that he was not alone in dumping bodies there, and he was the only one that took the fall for it.
Yeah, I don't take his word that his only kill was a self-defense.
Yeah,
yeah. I actually grabbed the knife and turned it on him and killed him. That's how fucking cool I am.
Yeah, he's obviously like a manipulator.
He's a pathological liar.
Yeah.
Bad.
He's like very well manipulating people, I think too. Like, yeah, I could see like And the interview, I was watching like the full interview, and I was like kind of buying what he was saying, and I was like, okay, no, I can't fucking fall into his gaze here. I can't fall into his big beautiful eyes. Like I gotta focus. He's definitely lying to me.
I mean, them young boys coming.
Yeah, and so back to the topic at hand, I guess. That's Gerald Richards was like one of the only people who even faced consequences from this shit. He faced, whenever all this was said and done, he got 2 to 10 years in prison, like was what he was facing. He served 18 months and got out.
It's always a slap on the wrist, too.
And he fucked multiple kids for sure, and procured kids to bring them to the island. And it's so obvious that he was using his gym teacher, position there. I don't know how he would never get fired. Like, the people who are obviously going to be going to the school, it's so obvious. Why would he not get fired after procuring multiple people to this island?
I mean, make it make sense, guys. You don't pay your taxes. They take literally everything away from you. You fuck a kid, and I mean, you distribute pedophilia. I mean, 18 months. You're good.
I only found one picture of Gerald Richards on the island, but he's sitting there posing next to like 6 kids who are between the ages of like 8 to 10, I'd say.
These people are prolific. It's not even, people around them know how fucked up they are, and they're still getting away with it.
And a lot of kids didn't tell anybody. Like the guy who was in the documentary said he wasn't telling anybody. And that's what I was saying, how like they found the most vulnerable kids. They would go skinny dipping would be a main way that they would do it whenever they get to the island. They would find the kids who wouldn't go skinny dipping, who would be like, okay, those kids are obviously going to tell if we start touching them. We're going to find the kids that would be least likely to tell out of every group that they would bring there.
Right, and I mean, if you look at stuff like the Oakland Child Killer murders, yeah, you're not going to tell anybody either. That was obviously tied up with some sort of pedophile ring.
I think it was tied up to the same pedophile ring as this one. I believe it was tied to the John Norman as well. John Norman...
The timeline fits.
John Norman would get arrested over and over again. He would only face just very light sentences whenever he would get arrested. He got arrested for 4 years. He only served 2 years of his sentence, and then got...
It was happening in Oakland County, 96, 97. Perfect on the timeline.
And he got bailed out in prison, and then right whenever he gets bailed out, he just moves to a different place, moves to Chicago, and starts working from there. Like, and so many people in these stories just move to a different place and change their name once they actually face consequences. Like the few people that do face consequences, they just bail out and then change their name. Never seen again. Dyer Grossman never got seen again. The last time he was ever seen was like in 78 or something. He disappeared and was never seen again.
And we're connecting the Oakland child killings because every single one of these kids was kept in captivity before they were dumped somewhere after they were murdered. All of them were cleaned perfectly too after they were murdered. They cleaned them after they killed them. There was soap underneath the nails. Got rid of everything. This guy, Timothy King, had fried chicken still in his stomach after they killed him.
Timothy King, his sister, is still fighting for this shit today. Fighting exactly what we're talking about. She has a blog where she has talked in detail about exactly this, about exactly North Fox Island, about this specific trafficking ring. She believes that this trafficking ring is the reason that her brother died. Timothy King, she fully believes that, and she lays it out well in her blog. Her name is Kathy Broad, and that sounds like this broad, but her name's actually Kathy Broad. I guess she got married and changed her last name.
And also, every single one of these kids were sexually assaulted except one. The only one that was actually shot wasn't the one, so she must have saw something. There's a huge amount of people going missing here in a populated area. Nobody sees anything, no screaming, no struggle. They just turn up. One of them turned up next to the police station. It's almost like the killers were taunting the police, taunting law enforcement.
Yeah, I don't know much about the Oakland County shit. Didn't all of them come, whenever they all showed up, wasn't it after a snow or something? Or am I thinking of a different case?
I mean, they were all getting dumped in the snow. Like, they appeared like one after another, and it had snowed there. So they just found their bodies, like, in the snow.
And the videos that I've seen have tied that to this as well. And whenever John Norman was running the Odyssey Foundation, whenever he got raided and they found all that child porn in his warehouses, he also had 2 kids in his home at the time whenever he was raided by the police. John Norman also, whenever they found CP in his fucking crate at the airport, they just call him and like, hey, John, we found all your CP in the fucking crate. You want to come pick it up? And he just goes to the airport, picks it up, and then the next day they actually execute a search warrant, but then he's already like gotten rid of all the evidence by then. And whenever he moves to Chicago, he starts going by a completely different name. He goes by the name Steve Gurwell, and he is living with Philip Paskey at the time, living with the guy who is Dean Corll's right-hand man. And whenever Francis Sheldon had to flee the country, he got all of his money managed by this guy whose name was Adam Starchild, which is just obviously a fake name. I've never heard of any last name like Starchild before. That's just like a retarded guy making up his last name for sure.
It's pretty brainless, yeah.
But yeah, that guy, whenever Francis Sheldon had to flee the country, that guy managed his money. And whenever Francis Sheldon didn't have access to his money, he like asked him, he's like, hey, fucking send me some. Starchild just like, you know what? Nah, you're going to have to come take it from me. Like, you can't come back here. I'm just going to hold on to it for now. And there's nothing you can do about it.
No honor among thieves, folks.
And what's crazy is that Sheldon had enough money to be able to sue and get his money back, even though he had to flee out of the United States. Fucking can't even live in the United States anymore. He's still somehow able to sue and get back his trust that was left in
What do you expect?
in the possession of Starchild.
If it's dealing with a lot of money, you just gotta grease the wheels a little bit.
But yeah, that guy, Starchild, ran the Boy Scout Troop 137 in New Orleans, which is like another way that they procured kids. This connects to the Franklin scandal as well. They procure kids from
It's nationwide, folks. It's crazy.
From Boys Town. They get them from Gerald Richards, like gym teachers. I'm sure there's other Jerry Richards out there that haven't been named, but that's just one example. Then there's also Father Bud's Boys Farm in Tennessee. They're able to get kids from there. And it's so crazy that our foster care system they're using our foster care system as well to get kids who don't have parents, who they won't know if they're going missing, and then they just label them as runaways whenever these people just don't ever show up again. Instead of labeling them as maybe murder, they're just runaways who moved and changed their name somewhere.
Right. Yeah, no, you just get counted as a runaway, and fucking who knows? Who cares what happened to you? You could be locked in some fucking dungeon somewhere.
How does John Norman connect to these Oakland County murders, though? Because I know that he does. I just watched a video of how he connects, but I don't have the deets behind it.
I don't have the deets behind it either. You're the one telling me he's connected.
He does connect, and I know he does for sure. But this is in that same area up there by Michigan, right? Where the fuck's Oakland County at?
I mean, it's fucking right next to the shore. It's kind of close to the southern or the northern peninsula. Kind of like on the. Yeah, no, I mean, it's right between the rural and the urban area in Michigan.
One thing I forgot to say was that in John Norman's CP that they found 11 of Dean Corll's victims who were recorded and videotaped in John Norman's possession. He had videotape of their murders and of their rapes. And nothing ever happens to him at all. He only serves a couple of years in prison.
It's a nationwide. I mean, these people. It's like Pokemon, dude. It's like trading cards, except they're getting their sick kicks from it. They're getting their rocks off in the worst type of way on it.
The victims deserve justice. Someone needs to fight for them if no one else is. I know there's some people making videos about it, but this is such a niche topic that we're a conspiracy podcast, and we haven't heard of North Fox Island in the fucking 40 episodes we made. It took 40 episodes for us to even hear about this. This is not the information that's going around very well.
That's how you know you're above the target. We have to think that each one of these kids, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to the Oakland child killing here now, folks. We're off the North Fox Island. We're talking about a little cutoff. Some might say a cell, a pedophile cell out here. All the victims were abducted. They were held captive for 4 to 19 days. They were all dumped in visible locations. One of them was shot in the face with a shotgun. How does none of this get noticed at all? Nobody. And a 3-statewide task force of law enforcement was put together to find these people. This was a massive case, and nothing was ever found other than Bush. Give me a second, Dylan. Take it away.
I heard that there was, in that case, they had like 300 detectives working, like fucking every day. They had at least 300 detectives working on the case,
and they had to have 300 detectives because get this, dude. All of them were flooded with tips, and none of the tips were leading anywhere. They were getting they were getting thousands of tips a minute, dude, and all the tips were leading fucking nowhere. It was a total misinformation scheme, trying to throw them off. They dumped the girl that was shot in the face with a shotgun in sight of the Troy County Police Department. These people are they're wild.
And this is happening in the same location, like in Oakland County, like where Francis Sheldon North Fox Island is. Where John Norman is working with these people. This is happening in the same location as them, where they're sharing resources and sharing videos and shit.
And now we get to the perpetrator. Who did the child murders? Nobody knows. Christopher Bush was the number one suspect. He was proven he wasn't it by DNA in 2012. And after he was suspected of doing it, he killed himself. And in the room that he supposedly shot himself in the head, there was no blood splatter and there was no gunshot residue. It was a total staged suicide operation. Not unlike taking the blame, not unlike Coral and Gacy. I mean, they find somebody to pin the blame on, one person to put it on, not the group. They put it on them, leave it. Go underground, go fully dark mode.
And all 4 victims, this is the only thing that doesn't line up, is that there was girls involved, and it seems like every time in these cases, it's just people who want to fuck boys for some reason specifically.
Well, some of these guys wet their whistles different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucked up. It's wrong. Yeah, again, it's like Pokemon. It's sick and it's fucking wrong.
But it's, in this Oakland County shit, it's, all the victims were cleaned, they were well fed, and they were kept for days before being killed. Like whenever they were abducted, they were kept for days and then dropped in locations, which is like exactly like what John Norman's setup is, where they knew how to manipulate kids and bring them into this network and abuse them. It's exactly like that, where they have, like, if they were being tortured, they were being not well fed or anything, and just by some random fucking crazy person, then they're gonna show up emaciated and show up fucking like they haven't drank water for 3 days, but like they were well kept before they were killed.
And if anything, the multiple suspects in this case lends credence to the pedophile cell idea. There was also Archibald Edward Sloan, and they found his hair in the Pontiac that one of the victims, Timothy King, was in. So you're telling me that we have all this evidence on Christopher Bush, and we have all this evidence on Edward Sloan, we have all this evidence on Theodore and Richard Lawson, and we still, it's not an idea that it's a multiple suspect case. There's no inclination. Nope, it's one person.
Yeah, that seemed like very important to all the investigators. They all just had to fucking look for a lone wolf pedophile.
And granted, every single one of these guys was a pedophile. Again, does that not lend credence? All these pedophiles we find, these guys are all suspects in the same killing, the same strings of killings. And nope, there has to be one.
We would know if all the people that were working with the clientele, we would know a lot more if we didn't get 30,000 note cards burned by the fucking government. Then we would know a lot more about who these fucking sick bastards are. Like, there's a lot more pedophiles walking around than you think. A lot of them are just hiding in the shadows, but this shit's still going on today. That people are getting kidnapped today. Kids are getting kidnapped today for this same exact thing. You think that just because cameras are everywhere, that's not happening?
If you saw Jeffrey Epstein go to prison and then die, you can't tell me that there's not pedophile rings still going on to this day, people. Just because one of them was a honeypot doesn't mean that they're still doing this sick shit. These people, once you get that powerful, once you get that depraved, you got to get your rocks off in the worst way possible. And this is how they're doing it. It's a sick game to them.
That's also, they're so sick, and that's how John Norman was able to make so much money through his situation. What's crazy to me, though, is that the postal inspectors never inspected any of those cartridges that held the film, like the film canister or whatever. The postal inspectors could not inspect that, which is how they were able to get away with delivering the CP in the mail for so long. And this is how he made so much money, is because these sick bastards, whenever they'd see CP, he would charge just like he was a salesman. What can you say? John Norman, he would charge very cheap for his first product. He would just send a little bit of CP right away for $5 or whatever. And then they would request things, and that would cost more. Or he would say, I have better stuff that costs more. And he would just give the snuff films that they were recording for the thousands of dollars. They were actually murdering kids, torturing kids, and then selling the snuff films for a profit.
It's why you get 300 gems at the start of Clash of Clans. It's to get you hooked.
That's why all the sports betting apps, they literally are like, bet $5 and we'll give you $200. Like,
that's all they need.
That is actually, there's the psychology behind that. I watched a video on it, which makes sense to me. The psychology behind that is you give them the big win right away without ever even having to make a bet. You give them I just put $5 in and then I won $200, and that's the big win that gets them hooked. They don't even have to make a single bet.
Dude, as soon as you get that first big win gambling, that's how they get you. Your mind loves that shit. Nothing wets your whistle like gambling. And it's that risk and reward, baby.
And now my Robinhood app wants me to gamble on NCAA tournament predictions and sports gambling.
It's horrifying.
Dude,
it's literally in everything.
How is
gamble!
How is
gamble!
that even on there? How the fuck is that even on my Robinhood app?
You need to gamble, Dylan.
I need to buy the Robinhood stock is what I need to do. That shit seems like it's going to be making a ton of their...
I wouldn't... If you should take precedent from the Canadian truckers that you should not buy Robinhood. You're just going to take your stock away from you whenever they hear you blaring Kanye West's new hit song.
That just reminded me of the free speech thing, how if Trump was actually for the people, he would make a law where these social media companies would not be able to do what they're doing. Like YouTube would not be able to kick anybody off who says something they don't like. Like, we should allow free speech on these platforms because they are our public forum where... Like, this is for everybody. This is where everybody shares their ideas at.
They're going to have to pass a law, dude. I'm in total agreement with you, but how it works right now, it's under their control. It belongs to them, so they can tell you whatever the fuck they want.
But I see the only reason why Trump wouldn't do this is because he's working with Elon. Like, Elon's his boy, right? Like, they're both on the same side now. And if he gets rid of free speech, allows free speech on every platform, then that makes Twitter a lot less valuable because free speech is allowed everywhere else instead of just Twitter now.
I don't think you're lying, but again, I don't think Google or Meta want to hear what you have to say. I don't think they want the First Amendment on their apps. Like, as much as Elon's pushing for it, whenever you go on Twitter, it's a clusterfuck. No matter what, I mean, it is. It's the fucking Wild West. So... I don't know. I think it should be under the First Amendment, but right now it's not. And there's push for better legislation. Vote right. I mean, I know you're going to be voting for douchebags. It's the only people that are running. I don't know what to tell you, people. Get out there. Abolish the government.
That's literally our only option is just vote, which sucks because we can literally do nothing about all of our politicians.
You could vote or you could have a large scale. Never mind.
Hey, this is a self-defense situation. They put me in a self-defense situation. I'm just fighting back.
If you guys won't pay your taxes, I won't.
Yeah, if everybody just stopped, we could. Okay, I guess we should we are turning our platform into just convincing everybody to not pay their taxes. You guys start, though. I'm not going to start. Once you guys start.
We're joking about this, though. You guys should definitely pay your taxes. Pay your taxes.
Yeah,
We would never condone any sort of overthrow, any kind of insurrection or anything of any sort like that. We were actually just joking.
one of our friends' dads that said he hasn't paid taxes in like 15 years and they haven't done anything to him.
Well, yeah, sure, whatever he says.
I mean, I believed him. I don't know. He did not seem. I don't know if that's a flex really to lie to me about that. Whenever I'm in high school.
I mean, dude, I wouldn't. You might believe him, but I don't.
Yeah, I guess so. He might have just been.
Dude, if you're going 15 years, I mean, good on him. I mean, you must be doing a lot of shit to be getting around that. You must be running a massive screenplay. I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
I've seen people go a couple of years without paying taxes, but I've never talked to anyone other than him that's gone that long without paying taxes.
The IRS got Al Capone. And you're telling me this guy has gone 15 years? Whatever you say.
The First Amendment has been on my mind a lot lately because of the First Amendment audits that, like, we lost all the stuff that we talked about on that on the last episode, but the way that these cops treat people just for exercising their First Amendment, just for recording in public and standing there just with free speech, they abuse them and illegally arrest them so much. I know that I'm just getting the worst out of all the cops, but there is so many crazy situations that I've seen on just people expressing their First Amendment right to record in public, which has like been obviously ruled on. If you are in public, you can record anything, and just by them doing that, like, they've been harassed by so many cops and illegally arrested, and then they just charge them with disorderly conduct is the most common charge whenever they just don't want to fucking deal with somebody.
I understand what all First Amendment auditors are doing. I understand what all Second Amendment auditors are doing. But guys, I mean, we're just going to have to come to the conclusion that in this day and age, in this world, nobody's going to give a rat's ass if your rights are trampled on. And that's just the way the fucking chips fall. The cops, they might call them public servants, but they're getting paid with your tax dollars to protect probably some neighborhood that's way richer than yours right now. So just don't fuck with them. Just leave them alone. I understand the First Amendment. I understand what you guys are trying to do, and I respect it. But yeah, no, they're going to throw you, they're going to fucking detain you and throw you in prison if they can, because you're just out here fucking with them. They don't like it.
I do like that in most of these scenarios, whenever the cops fuck up, the courts do rule in their favor. Like, it just takes so long, so much money to file a lawsuit and finally get all this shit dropped. Like, they actually put them through trial to waste even more taxpayer dollars on this bullshit. And then they finally, once they get to the courts, they rule in favor and drop the charges in most scenarios. But even in some scenarios, the courts don't rule in their favor whenever there's obviously injustice going on. And whenever it doesn't even make it to the courts, whenever you see the cops investigate themselves and find no wrongdoing over and over and over again, it's just so obvious that there is a blue line gang in the United States that cops will do whatever they can to protect their own, and they do not care about the citizens in a lot of scenarios. They lie to cover their friend's ass. Say you have a good cop. Even as a good cop, they aren't a good cop because they will stand by and let their blue line brother do whatever the fuck they want to another citizen. If they're higher up than them, especially, they will not fight back to a higher up than them. They will just let them abuse them. They will stand by, which does not make them a good cop.
And sadly, it's gotten to the point where the view of cops has gotten to such a low point that they want to be in these gangs, these law enforcement gangs, basically. It's almost like they have no other choice, some of them feel like. They're getting attacked by all the members of the community.
And I do feel bad for bad cops because I do feel like we do need to have...
It feels bad for good cops.
I do feel like we need to have cops. Like, this is something we need to have. We need to have people who actually want to help defend our communities, but it's just we are spending way too much money. We do need to defund the police, in my opinion, and that was like a crazy statement to me whenever COVID was going on. I was like, why the fuck would you want to defund the police? You guys are retarded. Like, it's fine. Like, they're doing fine, but... the more and more shit I've seen of them abusing people, I've fully switched up on that, and we could spend half the money on police in every city and nothing would change. Like, we would still be living peaceful lives.
I'll agree with you 50%. I agree with. I think we should defund the top 1% of law enforcement and start giving that money to some of the actual fucking beat cops, to the people that are actually out there making a difference. If they had better training, if we're getting better people, if it was an actual career that would be worth doing to go into law enforcement, then maybe we would have some people that aren't just fucking thugs out there on the streets.
That is what sucks about cops, is that it draws psychopaths. Like, psychopaths are drawn towards that job because they have so much power, and just a simple traffic stop.
It's a very thuggy job.
Yeah, and just a simple traffic stop, they have so much power over you. They abuse so many people's rights during traffic stops. Then it all started in Terry versus Ohio, which is a court case, which, like, basically you needed probable cause before that to even fucking talk to somebody and get their license. But just that, like, specific scenario, that specific court case is given cops. And there's another one that's like Pennsylvania versus Mims, which gives officers the right to make you step out of your car just for officer safety. If they ever feel threatened for their own safety, they can make you step out of your car, which is fucking insane. And they abuse that so much. Like, the courts, this is another scenario where the courts will end up ruling in the citizens' favor, saying that their constitutional rights were abused, but they will use that court case specifically to draw people out of their car who haven't committed any crimes. They'll even be like, I didn't even pull you over for a traffic violation, but get out of your car for officer safety. And Terry versus Ohio and Pennsylvania versus Mims are two court cases that have completely trampled on our constitutional rights and are not good decisions overall.
The world's a fucky place, isn't it?
Yeah, freedom's messy, which is fucking kind of sucks, because people are going to do shit that you don't like, and you got to get over it. But we need to have freedom. It's a lot better than living in a dictatorship.
Freedom is messy.
And cops are like a box of chocolates. They'll kill your dog.